news, Mora has guided the Saints to their first winning season and their first trip to the playoffs. It is the second time Mora has been named Coach of the Year. He won for the first time while working in the USFL. There is definitely a lot of pride on the line in this Sunday's game between the Saints and the Vikings. Fans are pitted against fans, players against players, and tonight, even the mayors of the two cities whose teams will play are offering each other a challenge. Joining us now in the studio is New Orleans Mayor Sidney Bartholomew, and live from Minneapolis, Mayor Donald Frazier. Mayor Bartholomew, it's all yours.
Thank you, Judy. I'm challenging, of course, Donald, who's the mayor of Minneapolis, to this event that we're going to beat the Vikings, and we have a Viking head that we're going to give him in remembrance if they should luck up by some miracle and win. And also we have a free ride for him in the Endymion Parade. And Donald, to show you how confident I am, I'm going to throw in another thing. We understand there's good fishing in Minneapolis, but we have better fishing down here, and we promise you a fishing trip.
Sid, thanks a lot. I'm really looking forward to that ride in the parade. That's going to be wonderful. Just in case something goes wrong, we're going to send you, in case you win, which nobody here thinks is going to happen, we're going to send you a box of Wheaties with a picture of the World Series winners, the Twins from Minnesota, and you'll have that to look at. But don't count on this. I think maybe I'm going to get the ride.
Well, Monday I'll be eating the breakfast of champions.
Well, we'll see, Sid.
All right. Thanks to you both. I hope you're right, because we don't want to lose this Vikings head, do we?
That's right.
All
we
right.
Sure don't.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. An estimated 55,000 out-of-town football fans are jamming New Orleans hotels tonight, getting ready for one of the biggest sporting events of the year. The 1988 Sugar Bowl is set for tomorrow, and the fans are ready. George Ryan has more on the thousands who have traveled the country to support their teams and what their visit means to those of us who live here.
They're streaming in tonight, the Orangemen and War Eagle fans. Give me a big War Eagle! Warming to the glow of a bowl game memory, escaping the Great White North.
Cool, it was about two.
Tigers to an easy 30-13 win over the South Carolina Gamecocks. Davis' virtuoso moves on this simple out pattern produced the game's first score, and it made it 7-0 Tigers. Then the highly touted Todd Ellis threw one of his 4 interceptions on the day. Greg Jackson would get 2. This one he'll return to the South Carolina 13-yard line. That'll set up another Hodson and Davis score. Perhaps no one in the college game checks off as well as Hodson, and this call produced an easy one, 14-0 LSU. In the second half, there would be more. Hodson hangs it up for Davis from 25 yards out. Those two shared the game's most valuable player award, and this score made it 27-6. Harold Green scored in the fourth quarter to cut it to 27-13. The Gamecocks would get no closer. LSU added a field goal, went on to win it 30-13. They finished the season with a record of 10-1-1. Joe Amato has been with the Tigers throughout Mike Archer's first year as head coach, and he's standing by live in Jacksonville. Nice ending to the season, wasn't it, Joe?
It was a great game. It was a great-looking game, Jim, today, and I'll admit it, I'll be the first to admit it. All year, the Tigers had problems rushing the opposing passer. Today, they came out fired up on defense. Perhaps it was a time off that got them. They were pretty banged up during the season, and it was defensive tackle Tommy Clapp who got it all rolling.
We talked all week that we didn't hear anything about our defense. All we heard about was South Carolina's Black Death. And our players, I think, have a great amount of pride in what they do, and they wanted to show people that they can play defense, too.
Their offense coordinator made the statement that you can't stop the run and shoot with a 3-man line. We wound up with 6 or 7 sacks, 4 or 5 interceptions. We had Ellis running all over the field tonight, scared for his life. So that's what it was all about.
I think we're intimidated. I really do. You know, I think that, you know, the jams that we had on them, you know, helped us out a lot.
And that was Greg Jackson talking about Sterling Sharp, who didn't have a great game. Wendell Davis had a spectacular game. He's the game's MVP. Wendell, great effort today.
Thank you. I'd just like to give credit to the Lord for giving me the opportunity to play tonight, and give credit to the whole offensive line.
And your QB.
Yeah, especially my QB. I'm gonna miss that guy. You know, and I just thank the Lord for giving me the opportunity.
Well, how was it? They didn't double cover you. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I thought they would after the first 2 touchdowns. I thought they would come out in more zone type defense, but they didn't. They kept with the one-on-one, so we capitalized on it.
Your dad is here, William. And what do you come in here, Bill. We got the trophy right here. The South Carolina fans really outnumbered the Tiger fans today, but South Carolina got quiet quick, didn't they?
They sure did. I think LSU was, I never thought that it would get here in the first place. I didn't think I would ever be here on this field right here, right now.
And you got the trophy right there. Tom, Wendell, congratulations, and what's ahead for you?
Well, I have to go to these bowl games. I'm going to the Japan Bowl and the Hawaii Hula Bowl, the Hula Bowl, and I'm looking forward to those bowl games.
Got an agent yet?
No, I'm not.
Well, let's talk about this. Thanks a lot, both of you.
Thank you.
Okay, Jim, that's it from the Gator Bowl.
All right, Joe, thanks very much. The pro football world recognized the job Jim Mora and his staff have done this year, and today, naming Mora the Coach of the Year in the NFL. And Jim's been good enough to take some time from a busy schedule to talk with us live from Saints Camp. And Jim, Stan Brock said today he wished he could have seen your face when you found out about the award. What was your reaction?
Award, Jim, and it's a nice award to receive, and I think it's a credit for the organization, our football players, and our coaching staff that I was able to receive this award. They just did an outstanding job this year and won a lot of football games.
Had you permitted yourself any thought about the honor? Because I think obviously you were the favorite to receive it.
Had I permitted myself? No, I really hadn't given it any thought whatsoever.
How about this week? You got a ton of media out there watching every move. Today with the weather, you had to go down to the Superdome maybe at the last minute. You've got people like me wanting your time now that you're the NFL Coach of the Year. Has it been a particularly tough week to maintain concentration for the Vikings?
I don't think so. We've had a good week of work. We've done our normal routine, our normal schedule. I decided last night to practice in the Superdome today, or the Superdome, whether it was raining or not. It just so happened that we would have had to go down there anyway. But we'd planned since last evening to go down there, and we had a good practice, and we'll be back out here tomorrow, rain or no rain. They wouldn't move the Sugar Bowl back for us so we could work out, so we're going to have to practice out here. But it's been a normal week of preparation. The only problem is that there has been a little bit more media around, but our players have handled it real well.
One last thing on the award. You've won it in both the USFL now and the NFL. Does this just go to show that good coaching is good coaching no matter what level it's at?
It goes to show that if you have good players and a good coaching staff, then and you win a lot of games, you got a chance to win the award.
All right. Again, congratulations. All our congratulations from here, and of course, thanks for the time. I know it's a busy time for you. I appreciate the visit.
Thanks,
tonight.
Jim. Nice to be with you.
Thank you, Jim. Characteristically modest, I would say. You wouldn't expect anything else out of Jim Mora, I don't think.
What a great capper on the year. Well, not quite yet. We're not done yet.
We're not done.
That's right.
Start of a new year this coming weekend, and let's hope that the Saints get it off on a winning note.
We know they will. All right. Thank you, Jim. Coming up next, Dave has the New Year's Eve forecast.
You boys.
A lot of pride is on the line in this Sunday's game between the Saints and the Vikings. Today, the mayors of New Orleans and Minneapolis joined in the spirit of the competition with a challenge of their own. They made a bet on our 6 o'clock newscast.
We have a Viking head that we're going to give him in remembrance if they should luck up by some miracle and win. And also we have a free ride for him in the Endymion Parade. And Donald, to show you how confident I am, I'm going to throw in another thing. We understand there's good fishing in Minneapolis, but we have better fishing down here, and we promise you a fishing trip.
Sid, thanks a lot. I'm really looking forward to that ride in the parade. That's going to be wonderful. Just in case something goes wrong, we're going to send you, in case you win, which nobody here thinks is going to happen, we're going to send you a box of Wheaties with a picture of the World Series winners, the Twins from Minnesota, and you'll have that to look at. But don't count on this. I think maybe I'm going to get the ride.
Well, Monday I'll be eating the breakfast of champions.
I think the Minneapolis mayor got the best end of that deal.
Yeah, I thought we were the city with the fiscal problems.
Right.
I mean, this guy's going to give away a box of Wheaties. Now, that's a big deal.
Big deal, huh?
And, of course, that's what we will be collecting, of course.
That's right.
And
absolutely.
Beer to drink with it, or whatever it is
and
we have with our Wheaties.
Mayor Bartholomew will frame it in his office. Right?
How about those Tigers from LSU today, huh?
Fantastic.
They look great. They've won 12 straight over South Carolina now. LSU's first victory in a bowl since 1979. Mike Archer's saying what jinx tonight after he capped a superlative rookie year as the head coach of the LSU Tigers with a thrashing of South Carolina in the Gator Bowl today. Joe Amato was there.
South Carolina fans filled the Gator Bowl. The Fighting Tigers filled the highlight reel. Defensive tackle Tommy Clapp sacked South Carolina quarterback Todd Ellis on the second play of the game, and LSU was in control. Their first bowl win since '79.
From South Carolina, along with everybody else in the country, didn't give us a chance. The offense coordinator made the statement that you can't stop the run and shoot with a three-man line. We wound up with 6 or 7 sacks, 4 or 5 interceptions. We had Ellis running all over the field tonight, scared for his life. So that's what it was all about.
In the quarterback battle, Tommy Hodson looked like Joe Montana with 3 touchdown passes.
Wendell Davis, touchdown. That's 2.
I thank God for this man right here, being the great quarterback that he is, and to go out as winners, 10-game winning season, a bowl game for the seniors is really exciting.
Tiger coach Mike Archer was unusually vocal on the sideline. 0 for 2 on team goals this year, no national championship, no SEC title. Archer wanted a bowl win badly.
All week we kept hearing about their Black Death defense, and we kept hearing how they were the favorites. And I can tell you right now, we played it up with our kids. And, you know, it was obvious that some people didn't think we were a very good football team. I thought we showed a lot of people in the United States that we are.
Because they'd never won a bowl, 0-7 now, South Carolina was tight during the week. It was too much pressure, their fans desperate for a W. Mike Archer kept his Tigers loose this week. Tommy Hodson played a lot of golf. Wendell Davis went fishing and caught an octopus. It was a great week. And if you tape the game, you'd better save it, because next year's schedule is vicious. Joe Amato, Eyewitness Sports, Night Watch.
And they're playing the Blue Bonnet Bowl tonight in Houston, and as easily as Jim Mora beat his fellow NFL coaches in being named NFL Coach of the Year today. Mora garnered 76 of the 84 votes, with Bill Walsh of the Niners second with just 4. As he pondered the season after today's announcement, Mora reflected on a point in the season when he came to the conclusion, hey, we might have something here.
Probably after our second San Francisco game, after we went up there, having beaten the Atlanta and the Rams on the road, and then went up back out to San Francisco and beat them that week, and then the next week where we actually came back and beat the Giants. Those 2 successive wins right there, I said, hey, maybe we can be a little bit special this year.
In the pregame build-up to a big game, trends and statistics will be examined and re-examined. Then the game will be played, and most likely little that was noted beforehand will have a bearing on what goes on the field. Chris Myers looks at some of the cold, hard facts leading up to Sunday's Saints-Vikings playoff game.
First of all, we're all 0-0 right now. So what happened the last 15 weeks has absolutely no bearing on what's going to happen this Sunday.
Okay, so you wipe the slate clean. Scott Studwell wants to forget that the Vikings dropped 3 of their last 4 while the Saints are sailing with 9 straight W's. Now, both teams play in domes. In fact, half of the NFL's 10 playoff teams play in dome stadiums, so you can de-emphasize the noise factor. And what about the Saints stepping into virgin territory? You know, never having played past the regular season?
The Vikings are bloated with postseason experience. Their franchise has been to the playoffs 18 times. That leads the NFL. And Jerry Burns has coached in 6 Super Bowls.
Well, I think you've got to throw it out. You talk about playoff experience we had. I think there's perhaps only 4 or 5 players on the team that were involved in playoff teams, because it goes back a while since we were in the playoffs. So I don't think that makes any difference.
While Jim Mora coached in 3 USFL title games, winning 2, he's appeared in only 1 NFL playoff. That was as defensive coordinator of the Patriots in '82. His team's strength is defense, and it was when he won in the other league. Jerry burns enemies with offense. So Sunday's trump card and the wild card may be the Saints' special teams. Give it an extra boot from Pro Bowler Morton Anderson, who not only gets 3, but pins opponents deep on their knee.
We're a little bit similar to New Orleans. We feel we have a good running game. We feel we have a good passing game. I think the teams are very evenly matched, with the exception of Anderson's kicking ability and Gray's return ability. I think that the difference in the game may hinge there.
In Minneapolis, Chris Myers, Eyewitness Sports.
Is there a threat of overconfidence?
Well,
by
if
the
anything,
Saints?
yeah, maybe by the Saints playing at home being favored. I don't think so. First time there. The Vikings have some of their players, like Kramer, they've been to the postseason before. That may work in their favor. But I think the crowd will rev up the Saints, and they'll be into it.
Both coaches talked today, right?
Yeah, and Jim Mora seemed real confident in talking to him after having his final practice. All right, the Saints, who are healthy mentally with 9 straight wins, go into tomorrow's wild card playoff in good physical condition as well. Jim Mora said this afternoon that Bobby Hebert's knee is okay after a good week of practice, and Antonio Gibson was activated for the game against Minnesota. Now, the Vikings arrived in town late this afternoon with a taste of Minneapolis-like weather, and they'll go into the Superdome tomorrow as 7-point underdogs, but with a game breaker like Anthony Carter, the game could be close and explosive.
I think it'll be a high-scoring game. I think the team that makes the fewest mistakes, I think is going to come out victorious. And, you know, if we can keep the ball away from their offense, I think that'll help us out tremendously.
They're capable of making big plays. I mean, they can run the ball, they can pound you, they can nickel and dime you, but they've got big play potential. And if we give them too many big plays, we're going to be in serious trouble. We got to eliminate that.
All right, Coach Mora has eliminated distractions from his team's playoff preparation this week. He hasn't stopped yet to smell the roses, but he is enjoying the Saints' hard work paying off with the well-deserved attention. All of that for winning. Are you having time to kind of enjoy this as you still continue to move ahead?
Well, sure. You enjoy it. Winning is the key. You know, if you win, then things are enjoyable. The week's more pleasant. After the game's pleasant. Sunday nights are pleasant. Dealing with the media is better. Just being around the players' attitude, the coaching staff's attitude, the whole attitude around the organization is always nice when you're winning, and when you're losing, then it's not good. So that's what makes a difference. So it's a lot easier to enjoy coaching when you're winning.
He looks like he's enjoying it, doesn't he? All right, joining us live from the Hotel Intercontinental on St. Charles here in town to call the game on CBS, John Madden, along with Pat Summerall. You'll see it on Channel 4 and CBS tomorrow at 11:30. John, thanks for being with us. First of all, the playoff experience. Jim Mora says it doesn't matter that his team hasn't been there before. You've coached teams through playoffs, Super Bowls. Is there a plus or a negative on that?
I don't think so. I don't think it makes any difference, especially in this first game, because it's a wild card game. It's the first week after the regular season, and I think it's possible to keep it a lot like the regular season. When you start to have trouble in that playoff experience is when you get to the championship game, you know, when you get all the media and the hoopla around it, and then, of course, the Super Bowl. Then I think it helps to have been there before.
If there's one area that both coaches are admitting the advantage lies to the Saints, it's the special teams. Jerry Burns said, hey, they got us beat in that area. Can that really swing a game?
I think so. I think that's the amazing thing about the Saints, and I think that's a lot of their success, too, is, you know, people always think about teams and you think about their offense and who their stars are and their defense and the plays, but the Saints have really done an excellent job on special teams. They've blocked 8 kicks this year. They have Morton Anderson, who's probably the best kicker in the game, maybe the best kicker that ever played the game, and they have a good punt returner, the top punt returner in the game. So you take all those things, and it's not always the offense or the defense, but it's that part of the game, and I think that's a part of the game that the fans don't always look at, and that's probably the thing the Saints do best.
How about at quarterback? Tommy Kramer to start. We may see Wade Wilson from Minnesota. And Bobby Hebert won a championship in the USFL. In your opinion, how good a quarterback is he?
I think Hebert is excellent because he does what Jim Mora wants him to do. You know, he's a guy that really has a gun for an arm, and he likes to throw deep. But with this team and with these wide receivers and really with the lack of speed on the outside, he can't do that. And he's learned to go to that ball control, passing game that Jim Mora has, and it's a real adjustment that he's made, and I have a lot of respect for him to be able to do that, because as Bobby Hebert says, he said, I'd like to throw the deep ball, but with this team, it's not there. I can't do it. And winning is a lot more fun than throwing deep passes.
All right, final question, John. I know you're not one for predictions, but what type of game do you think we'll see tomorrow?
I think it'll be a pretty tight game, and I can see it going to the end of the game, to the fourth quarter, and that's why I think it's so important. I think the special teams are so important. I can see it coming down to Morton Anderson, and that's why I carry my automometer here, you know, for the sound, because the fans can really play an important part in this game. See, and if it gets up here, if it's here, then I think the Vikings would have a good chance. But if the anemometer meter gets up into the red, I think the Saints all the way. You know, just it can't stop them if it gets up into the red in the anemometer meter.
All right, John. I'm going to look for that tomorrow.
Always carry one with me because you never know when you can use one of these things.
All right. Well, tomorrow we'll zoom in on that. And thank you very much. We'll look for John Madden and Pat Summerall here on Channel 4 and CBS. If you can't be at the game in the noisy Superdome, you can watch it here on Channel 4. John, thanks for being with us. To college football action today, the Hall of Fame game, Michigan defeats
are giving off those positive vibes. Enough, perhaps, to stay in the playoffs for more than just one Sunday.
How far do you think they can go in the playoffs?
I've seen the Saints 3 times in answer to the first part, and I think they'll go as far as the 49ers, and then they'll lose.
Fans parking in the Dome will pay $8 on Sunday. Dome officials said that's the standard price for special events, the same price they charged for Friday's Sugar Bowl. The post-New Year's Day bowl games were anything but drowsy.
Well, I'll tell you what, Warren, the Saints have been a second-half team all year long. Look for the Vikings to take a quick lead, as the other teams are doing in the Saints, but fourth quarter, look for a strong, solid fourth quarter from the Saints to take the Vikings. I see it a close game, Saints by 4, and you can't lose.
The Vikings are actually going through some of the troubles this year that the Saints went through a few years ago, where they had lots of talent and showed those moments of brilliance, but always kept running into those stumbling blocks.
Exactly, but that's the scary part, because they have shown moments of brilliance, and at any point they could do it. You know, they could put it all together tomorrow, so you got to watch that.
Okay, Lionel, thanks a lot. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock with more. Until
it seems for every win, there has been a new song. Tunes made to order for a team way overdue.
Here goes. Do you believe or not, huh? Who's that said he's gonna whoop them Saints?
Leave it to New Orleans to put music to a winning football season. Lots of music. 6 singles singing the praises of the explosive Saints are now spinning endlessly on radio station turntables. On Jeff Trepanier's shift, the request line has not cooled down in weeks.
Well, actually, it's been about 40, 50, sometimes even more.
Now we know what the phrase, "I'm so happy I could sing," was meant for. For Saints fans, of course. Happy, too, are those who sell the 45s.
One man just came in and bought all of them. He bought one of every one.
At Tower Records, you can take your pick from I'm a Believer to Who Dat and spend as little as $1.66. And be assured the catchy tunes are catching on outside of Superdome range, too.
Local fans and tourists alike are really buying them a lot.
I mean, we're not even from New Orleans. I go to school in Texas.
But Mindy heard the Who Dat song in a bar last night. She is a changed woman.
Are you a Saints fan? Mm-hmm. I am now. And probably because of this song, too.
We're the Saints and we have a dream to make the playoffs, to beat the other teams.
Back at the station, Jeff, in the middle of a Saints salute, is thinking about Sunday and another win and another Monday, when hopefully the request line will be jammed again.
He wants to go all the way to the Super Bowl. So everybody's backing everybody with the Saints songs. And hey, play some Saints songs. We all get in the spirit. That's what it is.
And currently, the most requested Saints song seems to be the remake of the Monkees' I'm a Believer. That's the news for this Saturday night. Thanks for watching. Remember, you can catch the Saints-Vikings game here on Channel 4 tomorrow. Kickoff is at 11:30. Good night.
Something to be proud of, and this year Moses, or better yet Mora, almost led our team to the mountaintop. But for 9 straight weeks the Who Dat gang gave us all something to be proud of, and although they could not continue that dream, they still left us all smiling and feeling good about a year of hard work. And as we leave you tonight, photographer Steve Peretti has pieced together this Saints year in review, which says thank you Messrs. Benson, Finks, Mora, and the team. Now for Steve Bellis and Ed Daniels, I'm Gary Mattingly. Have a great week and good night, everybody.
more stories than riding mighty high.
Toyota of Jefferson, Louisiana's #1 Toyota dealer, has been challenged by the factory to become one of the top 10 dealers in the country. The 88 models are arriving by the hundreds. The 87 models have got to go now. Cut yourself a great deal. Buy a brand new Celica Camry for only $89 down and $189 a month, or a Tercel pickup for $36 down and $136 a month. Toyota of Jefferson sells more Toyotas than any other dealer in Louisiana. Come see why.
Anything more.